I have spent a lifetime observing patterns. The most costly pattern I have observed is not in the market, but in the human mind. Specifically, the mind that believes its initial conditions are its final constraints. If you are 27 or older, you have likely settled into a statistical equilibrium that is fundamentally suboptimal. You are missing the most critical variable in the equation of success, the capacity for nonlinear algorithmic self-correction. I have watched people repeat the same mistakes for decades, and the root cause is always the same: a failure to treat their own lives as a system to be modeled, optimized, and ruthlessly recalibrated. They mistake momentum for optimization. They confuse a comfortable stasis with a successful strategy. The market, like the universe, is a system of noise and signal. Most people, by the age of 27, have become part of the noise. They are predictable, they are reactive, and they are inefficient. I have seen brilliant minds fail because they overlooked one simple truth. The world is a continuous function, and success requires continuous adaptation. My purpose here is to discuss how to transition from noise to signal, from a narrative-driven existence to an algorithmic one. The failure of the traditional approach to life, the one based on narrative, emotion, and linear extrapolation, is its inherent fragility. By 27, most individuals have internalized these flawed heuristics in their careers, their finances, and their personal decision-making. They have built a model of the world that is already decaying. The missing element is a systematic, quantitative approach to self-management. We will dissect the three fatal errors that lock individuals into this suboptimal equilibrium and provide the mathematical principles necessary to break free. These are not philosophical musings. They are observations derived from decades of empirical data and the application of rigorous scientific method to the domain of human endeavor. The first error is what I term the error of low-frequency trading. Humans trade their lives and careers at a low frequency. They make a major decision, a choice of career, a significant investment, a location to settle, and then they hold that position for years, sometimes for a lifetime. This low-frequency approach allows two of the most destructive psychological biases to take root: emotional attachment and the sunk cost fallacy. These biases are the antithesis of rational reevaluation. They prevent the necessary continuous optimization that defines a successful system. The long holding period is not a sign of patience. It is often a sign of intellectual laziness, a refusal to confront the data that suggests the initial hypothesis is failing. Consider the nature of the market we built at Renaissance. Our success was not built on one grand, low-frequency bet, a single conviction trade held for a decade. That is the realm of the storyteller, the pundit, the emotional investor who seeks validation for a single, heroic decision. Our success was built on thousands, perhaps millions, of small, high-frequency, statistically independent edges. We were not looking for a 50-point move in a stock over 5 years. We were looking for a fraction of a point over 5 minutes, executed millions of times. The cumulative effect of these small, persistent edges is what generates true, nonlinear wealth. The key insight is that the market's inefficiencies are most reliably exploited at the micro level, where the noise of human emotion is less dominant and the statistical signal is clearer. The principle here is high-frequency reevaluation. Success is not a single massive outcome. It is the compounding of small positive expectancies. You must apply this to your life. You cannot afford to wait 5 years to reevaluate your career path, your skill set, or your financial strategy. You must introduce high-frequency feedback loops, daily, weekly, and monthly reevaluation of small processes. Where is the inefficiency in your day? Where is the friction in your workflow? Where is the statistical drag on your personal growth? The question is not, am I happy with my life, which is a subjective, low-frequency question. The question is my current process generating a positive statistical expectancy, which is an objective, high-frequency question. Let me explain the mathematical mechanism, the compounding of small probabilities. Imagine you have a system, a trading model, or your own daily routine that has a positive expectancy, an edge of just 51%. If you execute this edge once, the outcome is almost random, a coin flip. But if you execute it 10,000 times, the probability of a positive cumulative result approaches certainty. The law of large numbers is your ally, but only if you give it enough data points. The individual who makes one major career decision every 10 years is operating with a sample size of 1. The individual who makes 10 small, statistically informed adjustments to their process every year is operating with a sample size of 100 over the same decade. The latter is the only one who can claim to be data-driven. The emotional cost is also a critical variable. The emotional cost of a small, frequent loss in a high-frequency system is negligible. It is simply a data point, a cost of doing business, a necessary input for model calibration. But the emotional cost of a large, low-frequency loss, the loss of a decade in a dead-end career, the loss of a significant portion of capital in a single conviction-driven investment is often catastrophic, leading to paralysis and irrational behavior. The system must be designed to absorb small, frequent losses without emotional interference. This requires a shift in perspective. You are not a gambler making a few big bets. You are a system operator managing a process with a positive statistical bias. Your goal is to maximize the number of times you run the process. If you are 27 or older and have not implemented a high-frequency reevaluation system for your life, you are leaving an enormous amount of statistical alpha on the table. You are trading like a dinosaur in a world that operates at the speed of light, and the market for human capital will not wait for you to catch up. The failure to make small, frequent adjustments is a failure of mathematical imagination. The second error is the error of non-stationary data. By the age of 27, many individuals assume their personal data, set their skills, their market value, their interests, their habits is stationary. They believe that the model that generated success for them at 22 will continue to generate success at 32 and 42. This is a profound misunderstanding of the system. The market, the economy, and the landscape of human knowledge are fundamentally non-stationary systems. They are constantly evolving, and the statistical relationships that held true yesterday are decaying today. The alpha you found 5 years ago is likely gone, or at least significantly diminished. To assume stationarity in a non-stationary world is to guarantee obsolescence. The principle to counter this is continuous model calibration. The moment a model stops adapting, it begins to decay. This is an immutable law of any complex system, whether it is a physical system or a financial one. Your most valuable asset is not a fixed skill, but your rate of learning. Your personal value function must be constantly recalibrated against the evolving market of human capital. This means actively seeking out new data, new methodologies, and new fields of study, not just to acquire knowledge, but to update the very parameters of your personal success model. At Renaissance, we understood this implicitly. A trading model that worked for 3 years was not treated as a permanent truth. It was treated as a temporary statistical advantage. We were ruthless in its reevaluation. The moment its predictive power, its alpha, began to degrade, we did not hesitate to decommission it. Sentimentality for past success is a bug, not a feature, in any optimized system. I recall an early model that had been exceptionally profitable for a sustained period. It was a source of pride for the team that built it. Yet, the data showed its edge was thinning. The temptation was to keep it running, to assume the dip was noise, to hope for a reversion to the mean. The rational decision, the only decision, was to shut it down and reallocate the capital and computational resources to newer, more promising models. The emotional resistance to abandoning a successful past strategy is one of the greatest impediments to future success. It is the human tendency to overfit the model to past data, ignoring the clear signs that the underlying distribution has shifted. We must introduce the concept of model decay and half-life into your personal calculus. Every skill you possess, Every habit you maintain, every piece of knowledge you hold has a half-life. The half-life of a programming language is shorter than the half-life of mathematical principles, but both are finite. The individual over 27 must treat their career and skill set as a portfolio of models, constantly measuring their individual alpha and replacing the decaying ones. This requires a cold, objective assessment of your current utility. Are the skills you possess today as valuable as they were 5 years ago? If the answer is no, you are in a state of decay. The only way to counteract this entropic force is through continuous, deliberate learning and skill acquisition. The non-stationary nature of the world means that the input data for your personal model is always changing. If you are not actively seeking new data, new skills, and new perspectives, your model is running on stale, irrelevant information. This is why a purely academic approach to a dynamic field like finance fails. The world is not a closed-form equation. It is a constantly updating data stream. Your personal system must be a continuous learning machine. If you are 27 or older and are relying on the same set of skills and the same worldview you had 5 years ago, you are operating a decaying model in a non-stationary environment. The outcome is mathematically predictable. Your relative performance will decline. You must be willing to ruthlessly decommission your past successes to make room for future ones. This is not a matter of motivation. It is a matter of statistical survival. The failure to adapt is simply a failure to correctly model the environment. The third and final error is the error of single model dependence. The human mind craves simplicity and narrative. It wants a single, simple reason why things happen, a single path to follow. This leads to single model dependence, one career path, one investment thesis, one life philosophy. The danger here is systemic risk. When that single model fails, when the industry shifts, when the investment thesis is invalidated, when the philosophy proves inadequate, the entire system collapses. This is the opposite of diversification, and it is a recipe for fragility. The human desire for a simple, unifying theory is a cognitive weakness that must be overcome by the rigor of statistical reality. The principle to counter this is radical diversification and orthogonality. The strength of the medallion fund was never the power of any single model. It was the orthogonality, the statistical independence of hundreds of models. We had models that traded currencies, models that traded commodities, models that traded equities, and models that traded fixed income. When one model was losing money, another was often winning. The total system was robust because the components were not highly correlated. The correlation coefficient between any two of our strategies was intentionally kept as close to zero as possible. This is the mathematical definition of a robust system. You must apply this concept of orthogonality to your life. Diversify your sources of income, your skill sets, and your intellectual pursuits. Your goal is to build a life portfolio where the components are not highly correlated. This is the mathematical defense against systemic risk. If your entire financial well-being is tied to a single, highly specialized skill in a single, highly cyclical industry, you have built a fragile system. When that industry experiences a downturn, your entire system is at risk. The failure of a single, highly correlated component can bring down the entire structure. Consider the composition of the team we built. We did not hire traditional Wall Street analysts. We hired mathematicians, physicists, cryptographers, and signal processing experts, people with skill sets that were orthogonal to traditional finance. Their different perspectives, their different models of the world led to statistically independent trading signals. The combination of these uncorrelated signals created a system that was far more stable and generated a far higher return than any single highly correlated model could have achieved. The physicist's approach to pattern recognition is fundamentally different from the mathematician's, and the combination is greater than the sum of its parts. This is the power of ensemble modeling applied to human capital. The mechanism is systemic robustness through decorrelation. The goal is not to be right all the time, That is an emotional, unattainable goal. The goal is to ensure that when you are wrong in one area, you are not simultaneously wrong in all others. If your primary career is in technology, your secondary pursuit should be something statistically independent, perhaps real estate or a creative endeavor that uses a completely different part of your brain and connects you to a different market. This is not about having a hobby. It is about building a robust, multi-dimensional system that can withstand shocks in any single dimension. The individual over 27 must actively seek out uncorrelated sources of value, knowledge, and income. This is the only way to mitigate the inevitable volatility of a complex world. The greatest minds in the world understand that true stability comes not from strength in a single area, but from the statistical independence of multiple diverse strengths. The pursuit of a single perfect model is a fool's errand. The construction of a robust ensemble is the work of a rational mind. The transition from a linear, narrative-driven life to an algorithmic one is the missing piece for those who find themselves in a suboptimal equilibrium. It is a shift from reacting to events to managing a process with a positive statistical bias. Let us summarize the algorithm for self-correction. First, the rule of frequency. Increase your frequency of reevaluation. Success is the compounding of small, persistent edges. Do not wait for a crisis to force a change. Implement daily and weekly feedback loops to identify and exploit small inefficiencies in your personal and professional processes. Treat every day as a new data point, not merely a continuation of the last. Second, the rule of calibration. Accept that your personal data is non-stationary. Ruthlessly decommission decaying models, skills, habits, or beliefs that no longer generate alpha. Your value is determined by your rate of learning, not your inventory of past knowledge. Be prepared to abandon what worked yesterday for what will work tomorrow. The half-life of knowledge is accelerating, and your personal model must accelerate with it. Third, the rule of orthogonality. Diversify your life portfolio with statistically independent pursuits to achieve systemic robustness. Do not rely on a single source of income, a single skill, or a single worldview. Build a system where the failure of one component does not lead to the failure of the whole. This is your mathematical defense against the inevitable shocks of a non-stationary world. The universe is written in the language of mathematics. The markets are merely a subset of that universe. The greatest inefficiency you will ever encounter is not in the price of a stock, but in the inefficiency of your own decision-making process. The age of 27 is not a constraint, it is a data point. It is a moment of calibration. The only question is whether you will use it to construct a new, superior model or continue to run a decaying one. The choice is between the fragility of narrative and the robustness of the algorithm. The time for emotional decision-making is over. The time for the rigorous application of mathematics to the problem of life is now. Thank you for your time. The data is clear. Now, you must act on it.